Howdy folks, I'm Nutty Nutcracker, noisily nomming on nutritious nuts.
I'm Amber.
And here are more nutritious nuts for us to nom upon. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not allowing my boyfriend to sell my PS4 to buy a PS5 for us? So for some context, I'm a 22-year-old female and my boyfriend is a 27-year-old male and we are both gamers. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years now. We live together and are basically attached at the hip. I love him, but there's one problem. I was a gamer before I met him. He lost his console a few months prior to us getting together. So when we started dating, I allowed him to play on mine as much as he wanted to. But at first, it wasn't an issue for me. But as time has gone on, he hogs the thing. He plays every single chance that he gets every single day. It's not that he is neglecting his responsibilities. We clean and cook together. We both work full time. But when we're done, he hops onto my PS4 and then goes ham. Whenever I ask him if I can play, there's always this attitude. He sits, arms folded. I can see him constantly shaking his head in my peripheries, huffing the whole time. This completely ruins my entire mood every single time. So I give him the controller back, and then suddenly he's super happy again, like nothing is wrong. He says the ones that I play are boring to watch, mostly Dragon's Dogma, which I have played for years and is my comfort game, because he doesn't understand the whole game or the storyline, even when I've tried explaining it to him. He only likes first-person shooters and hunting games, which I have played on occasion because he asked me to play with him, but it's really not my cup of tea. He wants to buy a PS5, which I was excited about since I thought he had finally saved enough for it, and then I would get to play on my console again without having to ask or feel guilty. But then he got confused and said he wants to sell mine to have enough to buy a new one. Gaming is also a hobby that I love and I have done for years before I even met him. So I don't want to take that away from him. We can't afford a second console without selling the first, but in the last 4 years, I barely get to play on a console that I own. And I think that this is only going to get worse once he gets a new one, since he will be contributing most of the money towards it. I had a mental breakdown about this and went nonverbal for a little while. He can't understand why I'm being so emotional about it. When I tried telling him it's because it won't belong to me, so I think that he'll allow me to play it even less, he got mad. So am I the jerk for not wanting to allow him to sell my PS4 to buy a PS5 for quote-unquote us? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. And honestly, I would go and take the PS4 back and put it somewhere where he can't access it. It's not his property and he's acting like it is. And like, it would be one thing if you were taking turns, but he never lets you play. And that's not a good thing.
Well, I think that OP is enabling his behaviors to some degree. I'm not blaming OP here, but they give in and allow him to huff and puff, and then, he throws his little temper tantrum, and then OP's like, okay, fine, 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 right? And does, and then gives in to him. I think that he's an incredibly immature individual,
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to OP playing his games, then it's all right, right? Because it's all right for OP to be bored with his games,
Mm-hmm.
but he can't even suffer a little tiny bit of time with OP playing boring games that he doesn't like.
Yeah, and so I don't think he should have access to the PS4 whatsoever. And maybe just take it to a friend's house or family's house when you want to play it, and he can huff and puff at home.
So what do you think are the odds that he'll just go ahead and sell the PS4 anyways?
I mean, I am concerned he would do that. That's why another reason why I think it's good to keep this away from him and not let him near it. Although honestly, I know OP may say that this is like the one issue in the relationship. A lot of people will say that, but honestly, I would reevaluate the whole relationship. If he's being this selfish, are there other things that OP does that he doesn't enjoy?
Yeah.
That he huffs and puffs or refuses to do. Like, is this relationship actually benefiting OP in some way, or is this him always dictating everything because if it's not what he wants, then it's boring?
Well, maybe it's just that they get along well enough that this behavior doesn't come out in the normal, on the everyday type of thing. Where if it were to come down to it, then he would huff and puff and throw a temper tantrum if things didn't go the way that he wanted to. So it could just be that they have a chemistry that matches well enough where he isn't being, a jerk like this on a daily basis for other things other than the gaming console.
Or it could be that he's literally just playing the gaming console all day.
Yeah. So this seems like a bigger issue than what OP is letting on, because sharing is fundamental to a relationship. And if you can't share, if you can't figure out how to use mutual property in a equitable way, then that doesn't give me warm fuzzies about the rest of the relationship.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because, like, we've played games before, and, like, we have different interests when it comes to games.
Yeah, and I always kick Amber off of the games because I'm like, no, boring games.
Yeah, no, like, if I want to play Pokemon stuff, then Brian just, like, whatever. He doesn't go huffing and puffing. He just does something else. And same for when Brian plays his video games. I don't go, it's not Pokemon. How can you play anything that isn't Pokemon?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that this is certainly more problematic, and I agree with you that they should reevaluate this relationship and see if there are other things in there. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Oh, and folks, I just want to say, when you're in the comments, please try to keep the comments, respectful and kind and stuff like that. I know sometimes things can get a little passionate, and, people get a little invested in their points of view. But just remember, there's always someone behind the screen. So just remember to be kind. If you don't agree with what someone has to say, just say it in a kind way. There doesn't have to be any meanness or spitefulness. And Balance Crazy says, not the jerk, and I would tell him that I actually want to be playing more of Dragon's Dogma. So it would be fun for you to get another PlayStation so that you don't have to wait on me stopping my game. I know how hard waiting for your turn is. And OP replies, I like that. And Zealous Ideal Team 981 says, you have plenty of comments about your issue, so I'm going to mention something else. Unless you're using cloud saving, getting a PS5 after selling your PS4 will cause you to lose all of your saved data. You want to have both so that you can connect them and transfer all of your saved data to the PS5. And OP replies, I'll definitely bring this up. Thank you. Another thing that might actually help to resolve this issue is if they build a schedule around when they're allowed to play video games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be helpful in a healthy relationship, but it's very clear that he can't manage a few minutes not on the PlayStation.
Yeah, but if it was actually scheduled out block time, like, oh, I get the PlayStation on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you get it on the other alternating days, and we, figure something out for the spare day.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see that working is if there's some kind of OP gets away from him, or there's some kind of penalty for him huffing, like you lose your PlayStation time if you sit around huffing and trying to take the game away from me.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Allowing Our Daughter to Buy My Ex-Husband's Family Christmas Gifts? Some context and full disclosure. My ex-husband and I have been divorced for nearly 10 years. He was physically abusive, I cheated, we were both jerks in that relationship. We have a daughter together, but divorced when she was very young. Our daughter lives primarily with me. He sees her every other weekend. Since then, I am very happily remarried, and my husband is a fantastic stepdad. We've been together for 8 years, married for 3. Ex-husband has been through a few relationships. His newest girlfriend he's been with for a couple of months now, and she has a daughter that's much younger than ours. Our daughter is at an age where she wants to be independent and do things herself. This year, she wanted to get Christmas gifts for everyone, including all of my ex's family and my new husband's family. Obviously, she doesn't have her own money, so I transferred a set amount to her child's debit card, and then we went shopping together. I mostly just steered her away from choosing gifts that were too expensive. She chose things that were less than $10. She picked out all of the gifts. I wrapped them when we got home. They were things like cream sets, small Legos, and duplex sets, socks, hats, pretty generic Christmas gifts. Along with her aunts and uncles, she wanted to get my ex's new girlfriend and her daughter gifts as well. When I let my ex know by text that we would have a bag of gifts for everyone when he picks up our daughter for Christmas, I got called weird for picking out gifts on behalf of his girlfriend, and that I should have told our daughter that he would do that for her, but he hadn't, and but he hadn't told me that he would, and isn't picking her up until after Christmas. I'm not going to tell my daughter any of this. I'll just send her with the bag of gifts. Am I the jerk for letting her pick things out, or should I have just left it up to my ex to handle? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, and this is a very strange reaction from him. I mean, these are small gifts. Like, it's not like OP went out and bought elaborate gifts herself to try
Yeah.
and upstage him or something.
Oh, yeah.
She took her daughter, who is invested in these people, and basically it was helped her pick out things that weren't too expensive. It seems like OP's only input was making sure she had enough money for all the gifts.
Well, and I think that it's very nice that
Mhm.
she's viewing these other people as part of the family,
Well,
right?
exactly. Like, that's the thing, is OP is being incredibly kind here. She's not being bitter like toward the ex's family and saying, "Oh, well, we're not getting anything for them. That's his job."
Yeah.
She's just like, "Okay, here, we'll get some gifts." And like, I think OP handled this very kindly, very maturely. And I don't know what the ex's problem is here.
Well, I think that I don't know. I just think maybe he feels like it's a threat and that OP is, showing, being too kind or something like that. I don't know.
Well, my guess is that like he didn't even think of that, and now he feels afraid of looking bad because OP was the one who
Hmm.
took the daughter to do this stuff. Even though OP has majority custody, so she has the daughter most of the time.
Yeah.
But if he feels bad that he didn't think of this first, then he can reflect on that and next year plan better.
Yeah. So I think that maybe if he had been really truly interested in doing this, then he should have given OP a call and said, "Hey, would you mind if I took our daughter out to shop for some presents, between now and Christmas, and set aside a day for them to go ahead and shop." And then that way he could have felt included in on this. But there wasn't any way for OP to read his mind and know that this is what he wanted to do. So I can't fault OP for doing this
Mhm.
because, again, they're not a mind reader. There's no way for them to know that he wanted to do something like this.
Well, and my suspicion, because he's not going to have her again until after Christmas, is that he only wants to do it once he knew OP did it, and it's
Hmm.
like, I should have done this. Now I'm going to look bad.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Cosmic Babe 77X says, honestly, if your ex thinks that you're weird for letting your daughter spread some holiday cheer, he might just be jealous that you've got the holiday spirit and he's stuck with a lump of coal. And Sasha Savvy says, it's normal for your children to want to give gifts to people that she cares about, and it's commendable that you're supporting her in that. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, My boyfriend, a 28-year-old male, got me a huge surprise gift that I, a 23-year-old female, think ruined my Christmas. We have been together for 3 years, but this has been the first time that we are financially stable enough to actually get a Christmas tree, a good haul of gifts, and to decorate our apartment. This was always my favorite time of year as a kid. I grew up in a kind of an abusive family where I was forced to be an adult at a young age to take care of my siblings while my parents constantly worked and broke up and threw each other out. But everyone just seemed happy around the holidays. We both lived across the country from our families and see them a few times a year for a week or so at a time. We budgeted enough to splurge a little this year, and we both started good jobs at the start of the year that both gave us bonuses. Together, our bonuses are a combined $1,500, and we agreed that this is the firm budget for the Christmas gifts, split evenly. I know it seems like a lot, but there are several things that we both have gone without for a little while, and we were struggling for the first couple of years of our relationship financially. We both desperately needed new clothes and a few other miscellaneous items. We both prepared lists of clothes, shoes, cologne, perfume, and things for our apartment, like rice cookers, new bedding, and some items for our dog. In total, I bought him everything on the list. I told him several times that I was so excited for our first real Christmas together, emphasizing our Christmas, and I told him over and over again how extremely romantic and intimate I thought that it was going to be. In my head, We would simply have a low-key Christmas, stay in, cook a big meal, mess around in bed for most of the day, and play video games or something like that. I felt like I communicated this clearly, and we both agreed. I know for sure that we talked about it, and he never seemed to contest or ask for anything else. We spent the entire month of November talking about our mutual excitement and seeking out activities for us to do together. Dates, board games, etc. We had a few dates planned. I don't know what came over him last night, but he decided to tell me my Christmas gift early. He spent a large portion of my gift budget on a plane ticket for my kid's sister, orchestrated and planned with my parents to send her to our apartment to spend Christmas with us, and got my sister some gifts to open on Christmas morning so that she wouldn't feel left out. He has a whole week planned for him, me, and my sister. All of our date ideas, but he included her. We will go to see Christmas movies and Christmas lights with my sister. He got me 1 to 3 items off of my list, but none of these items were things that I needed. For example, warm clothes, shoes, bra, a winter coat, cosmetics. We both made a lot of sacrifices this year while we struggled together, and I was looking forward to getting some items that would help me feel like me again and not like I was just in survival mode. My gift is that my sister is getting a vacation to my apartment. When he explained this to me, I just started crying. I feel so ridiculously frustrated. I love my sister and we are very close, but it's because I am more like a parent to her. When I moved away and met my boyfriend, I had some independence from this, but now something that I was really looking forward to has been turned into a babysitting experience where I'm in charge of giving my sister a child's Christmas experience. I'm upset that my boyfriend doesn't know me well enough to know that this was actually one of the worst things that he could have done for me. He knows that I hate surprises and grand gestures. I told him that this really ruined my Christmas, and it's something that can't be undone without upsetting my sister, who I feel responsible for. My boyfriend is telling me that I'm being ungrateful, and that he tried his best to be thoughtful, but I can't shake the feeling that this was the last thing from thoughtful. Can someone please offer some insights? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think Opie's in the wrong for being upset about this. And honestly, it may be time to reconsider the relationship. And I think if you do go through with it, if he doesn't step up to take care of the sister at all and just piles this all on OP, that's going to show you exactly what it's going to be like raising kids with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a difficult situation because he could have just misread things and not really understood that OP was parentified as a child and that this is like more parentification type of stuff. And that's not a great thing to do to somebody who has trauma, especially around being parentified. So why he thought this was a good idea, it's really hard to say. And in the comments, it comes out that this was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't presented by the parents or anything
Yeah,
like
because that
that.
was my initial thought, was that the parents just try foisting the kid on him, but no, it was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, I guess it just shows, I really feel like he's being selfish here. Like he wants the credit of doing this grand gesture, but he's going to actually be caring for her, or is that going to be all on OP? And then he spent her gift budget
Yeah.
to buy the sister gifts. Like he didn't get any OP any of the things she actually needed.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna approach this in a non-cynical way and assume that what he thought was that family was really important to OP, and that giving her sister a great Christmas would be like a great thing, and that they could spend time together and catch up and stuff like that if they're not seeing each other a lot, because like they're so close and stuff like that. And that's the perception that he has, right? That this was like, oh, they'll be able to be sisters again or something like that. Very in poor taste,
Well,
but
the reason why I'm skeptical of that is his whole, like, if you try to do something nice and it blows up in your face, you should at least be able to acknowledge.
oh yeah, yeah.
And the way he's saying that she's being ungrateful and just
Yeah.
expects OP to like bow down to him and like be so excited for this, for her chance to be parentified again. Um, that's what's really giving me the ick about this. Like if he had like done this and then realized it was a mess up, but the fact that he keeps acting like this is great, and he took all OP's ideas and retooled them to
Yeah,
involve her
yeah.
sister. It's like he wants credit for making the best Christmas ever, but he stole OP's ideas and now he's gonna steal her labor.
Yeah, I mean that's a very fair point. Like he's not apologetic at all, and it just seems like he is like, oh, you should be totally happy with me that I did this thing, right? I mean sometimes people can say things out of frustration
Hmm.
because like you might feel frustrated that your gift is unappreciated, right?
Yeah, but if he doesn't walk this back,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, maybe take back some of his gifts so you can get money to buy the things you need. I mean, he doesn't need $750 worth of stuff.
Yeah, I mean if OP isn't getting $750 worth of stuff, then maybe they should talk about renegotiating how the gifts are distributed and whatnot. Maybe it's time to like return some stuff so that OP can actually get some of the things that she needs. And I mean, the culture that OP is from they're from a Chinese culture, I guess, where getting gifts like clothes and stuff like that are pretty normal for Christmas. So I know there were some questions in the comments like, "Oh, why are you getting necessities for Christmas and stuff like that?" And this is one of the reasons. So I think that it's just a pretty terrible situation for OP, and I feel very bad for them. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and there's a little bit of an update to this one that we read the other day. It's am I the jerk for telling a woman where she can and can't give birth? OP was approached mysteriously one day when they answered their door by a very heavily pregnant woman who wanted to give birth in their house. So there is a little bit of more information to this one. Edit. So I would just like to add that my friend isn't an idiot. When we were having this conversation, we were, let's say, having a fun time with substances. When I asked her about it today, she genuinely thought that she'd imagined the conversation. Obviously, she thinks that it's a horrible idea for liability and health reasons, aside from it being weird. And for those concerned that she is getting inebriated as a nurse, she's off for the next 2 weeks. She's flying home for the holidays. So we were having a little get together for those of us who are leaving home. And for those who are saying that I made this up, I wish I had an imagination that good. I would start writing if I did. I couldn't have predicted or come up with something like this in 100 years. Edit 2, I got an email back from the previous owners. I managed to get their contact info from the realtor who sold me the house. It turns out that yes, they do have a daughter, and yes, she's apparently actually pregnant. And they have cut her off for the time being for being a little absurd. So yeah, I asked for anything that might be helpful for getting any kind of protection order for the house. But the cops have said that unless she actually tries anything, there isn't anything that they can do. So I guess on Monday, I get to talk to someone in my county's court system to deal with this. Well, what do you think of that update?
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, and hopefully the daughter is able to get the help she needs. I'm wondering why the parents cut her off over this. Like, is there any way that they can help her? Like, if, especially if it's caused by pregnancy hormones or something,
Yeah,
because those can be really hard on people psychologically.
yeah. Or if
So
she has other mental health
or if she has
disorders,
other
right?
mental health, but like pregnancy can exacerbate
Yeah, yeah,
underlying mental health issues because all the hormones and everything.
yeah. I think that this is a sad situation, but it certainly is not OP's problem
No,
at
it's
the
not
end of the
OP's
day.
problem. And that's why I was wondering if the parents could help her in some way, if she's
Yeah,
not dangerous, if she's not violent.
yeah. And it is, the parents' responsibility to some degree. And if OP wanted to, out of the kindness of their heart, try to find some information. But I don't know, like, I would hope that the parents would have tried a lot of things to help their daughter out. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What helps keep the sun in the sky?
Well, I would say the chariot helps to keep the sun in the sky.
Sunbeams.
Oh, sunbeams. That's actually not bad. That's a pretty clever joke. And I have licorice spice. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a short news segment.
Tonight at 6, the do's and don'ts of gift giving. Spoiler alert, do not give your significant other a grand gift if you're not sure it's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's a recipe for disaster right there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!